Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new after show for Big Little Lies here at AfterBuzz TV. You are going to be hearing us talk about Season 1, Episode 6, titled Burning Love. We have so much to say, so please stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello again, our beautiful AfterBuzzers. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Big Little Lies after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. I have two beautiful ladies with me, a new addition for the rest of the season to our panel.
Hey guys! I'm Shay Jones. You can find me at Real Shay Jones on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm so happy to join for the last two episodes, which is going to be so
juicy.
I know.
I have no words. They have words. I can't even describe how I'm feeling right now.
And I'm Jessie Zahner. You can find me all over social media at Athletic.
And of course, guys, don't forget to follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. We love your comments. We love how much this show is kind of bringing out just like different opinions from everybody. And it's getting crazy. The show's getting crazy. So we thank you all so very much for participating in the conversation with us.
Yes.
So please keep it going. And you're in the live chat, Jessie.
Yes, I'm
so
in live
guys,
chat,
just
so
please keep on live chatting.
Chat us.
Oh, okay. So overall, we're not going to show her on screen, but we have my cousin here. I'm going to tell you guys a fun story. So yesterday, we did a binge. We did a binge day. We watched all 5 episodes.
Oh, dang.
She had never seen it,
Yeah.
so we just did it. And it's so. I realize that I feel as though this show might be better watched binged.
I feel like yes, because I'm the type of person that literally cannot deal with waiting. And I was talking to some people in our comments section, and they're like, I just want to Google what's going to happen. And I'm like, yes, I'm there with you. And I am the person who will Google what happens. I mean, and we've had this conversation before. So yes, I think it would be better binge so that I can just not have to think about what happens.
By the way, it's also the reason I read the book. I read the book because I saw the trailers and I was like, I can't wait. I don't even know what's this about, but I'm going to read it, so I read it.
Yeah.
That's why I read the book. What about you, Shay? What's your experience with this show?
I watched the first 2 episodes and I was just like, okay, I'm really hooked. But I get busy sometimes, so it's like I had to binge the next 3 episodes. But binge watching it was freaking awesome.
It really
I
is.
didn't want it to stop. When it stopped, I was just
I know.
there's not another episode? Why?
I know.
I
and
want it.
Now I'm thinking there's only 7, and that means there's 1 left after this one. It's not enough because, I don't know, the juicy stuff.
I still want to know who was killed in the first episode. That's what still confuses me so much.
Well, that's what we find out in the 7th episode.
Oh, that's where okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm at least they're not gonna dangle it.
Yeah, but let's start with Jane. So we basically do our shows. We talk about Jane, Celeste, and Madeline all in different orders. But let's start with Jane tonight. So we see her go to Saxton Banks and what actually happened there. He freaked out. She dropped the bag and he's like, "Oh, you have a gun, crazy lady," and she runs out. And you see her wheels spinning. She seems very crazy. I thought at the beginning of this episode, right?
Yeah, I definitely do think that. I thought that exact same thing. First, I was so excited to see Saxton Banks. I was like, oh, I know him, because he was on our show a few weeks ago, and I love him. So, I'm a huge fan now. So I was so excited to see him. But it's so weird because for all this time, I was on Jane's side, and I still am. Mm-hmm. I like Jane, Madeline, and Celeste. But this is the first time where I saw her, really nuts. Because, I thought she had it all together. And, all together as much as you can have it together. I mean, she's a single mom, and she was raped. We know this story. And I'm like, damn, if I was her, I'd probably be, batshit crazy. But, not that crazy. Because I don't think I could, literally kill someone. I also don't deal with guns. So, I can't imagine just, being alone with my son and having a gun in the house, but I don't know. I don't have flashbacks and stuff like that. So it's really hard because I was just damn, I thought she was really doing good, and that was definitely a huge moment of weakness for her.
Yeah. What do you think about her character, Shay? Do you think she's suspicious or a red herring of sorts? What do you think's happening?
I think basically it's completely normal. Mm-hmm. Maybe because I have a fucked up childhood, so it makes a lot of sense in my life. Just the process that she's going with, because she said it, she has been pretending that she's been okay, and she kind of has had her son to focus on, which is a good motivator just to get up every day and keep going on with your life. But she never really dealt with it. The only person she ever told was Madeline. So at that point, I mean, that's a good first step, but you're not over it.
Right. What do you think, Sam?
Well,
I mean, do you think she's mysterious? Because I know that's something somebody else said on the show. I can't remember if it was Raquel or Ryan. But I don't find her... I mean, is she mysterious? Yeah, she's quiet, but I don't find her to be, like, mysterious.
I find her a bit shady.
Okay.
And the thing is like I said, and I will bring up a couple points that I think are relevant.
Yes.
That have changed from the book to the TV show. But with that, in the book even, I thought to myself, and they didn't even explore it as much in the book as I wanted them to. So I think that maybe they're more exploring that with the show. I don't know. I mean, you think about it, some girl to walk around with a gun just loaded, and even when we were rewatching it yesterday, she's sleeping with a gun on her pillow, and I'm thinking,
that's scary.
I don't even care if the safety's on. I'm afraid I'm going to have a nightmare and roll and toss them, it's going to just go off.
Right.
It's kind of a scary thing, but you mentioned Jane and Madeline, and I loved seeing Jane and Madeline's relationship kind of develop and get weirder, but then also see Ziggy and Chloe's relationship get closer. That was really fun to see those kids together,
They're
right?
adorable. Like, I think they just get each other.
Yeah, they do. They're both kind of... They're oddballs, which I don't ever think is an insult. I think that's a huge compliment. They're kind of before their time, in a way. Both of them are.
Right.
And they interact very well together.
They are very, like, mature for their age and smart. I mean, like, what grade are they in? Kindergarten?
First grade.
First grade, and they're talking about, like, sex and, like,
sperm and
it's just like, it's way too early. It's like, at this point, tell the stork story. Be like, I don't know what Chloe's talking about, but the stork drops the baby off at the house, and that's it. Like,
no, I like that Jane's a realist about it, because, like, obviously now he knows what a penis is. Like, he has one, so it's just like, at that point, like, let's not even, like...
But you're like 6
He's smart.
years
Like
old.
she said it. You're a smart kid. Like he even corrects her. So at that point, it's just like you kind of just gotta be straight with them at that point.
Like, it's
I
like
agree with
you're just
you, yeah.
too damn young at this point. Like, we cannot literally be having this conversation at 6 years old.
I can't say that. I saw What's Love Got to Do with when I was 4. So at that point, I grew up totally different in life.
I asked a lot of questions, and people told me a lot of answers. So some of them weren't correct.
Yeah.
I won't even tell you what they told me. But I'm just going to say I grew up thinking things were a certain way, and that's not how it went.
That's hilarious.
But, I think that it was very telling that, first of all, Jane told Madeline for the first time about the rape. That was the only person that she told.
Right.
And then she, at first, in this episode, told Madeline she didn't bring the gun. And then she said, you know what, because when she did that, I said, okay, well, this friendship's done if she's not going to be honest with her. But then she was honest with her, and she goes, I did bring the gun. I don't know what I was going to do with it. I don't think I was going to do anything with it. But I just felt like it was just such an honest relationship, and I think that their kids are kind of getting tied together.
I do love their relationship. Like, I really think this is good for Madeline. Madeline's really good to Jane, and Jane really needs Madeline. But do I think honesty is the best policy with your friends? Of course. But at the same time, I'm like, do I tell my friends everything? No. Would I tell my friends I showed up to this guy's office with a gun in my purse? Probably not.
Really?
But I probably
Who would you
wouldn't
tell?
do that.
I would.
I'd keep that to myself, probably.
No,
I have a specific just tight group of people.
You're like ride or die people?
My ride or die people, especially I have a best friend. We've been friends for 20 plus years now. That's my ride or die.
Yeah.
If anything, I tell her.
Quiet. Like, I don't tell... I'm more the person that, like, sits back and listens, and I don't tell a lot of, like, deep things to people. And I don't know if that's just, like, how I was raised, because I feel like it definitely is. Because, like, also you mentioned about, like, Jane... something about Jane, but, like, I feel like if I was in her situation, I'd also be super quiet about that. Like... I don't know, but I just don't tell a lot of people a lot of things, so I probably would just, like, not even tell anybody that.
Like, if I went 5 years without telling somebody, eventually it'd be like a ticking time bomb volcano is about to explode or erupt inside me, because at that point, like, something has to give. It's like she said, like, in the preview, it's like something is gonna have to give.
Yeah,
whether it's your peace of mind
through a wall or
Yeah.
something.
Maybe because I disagree about the whole gun thing, only because
Yes.
I believe
like
guns either.
I don't mess with the guns.
Again, I grew up in the projects, so guns kind of norm. Not to say it's right or wrong, but that was my way of life. So I think the fact that sometimes it does, especially when women get raped, they go to the shooting range, pop some off. It gives them a better sense of control.
Well, on that note, I actually really liked Jane's explanation to Madeline because it was something that was new to me that I thought I never thought of that way, that, women that are victims of rape or sexual assault, that they are kind of told that they should own guns and they should go to the range because it gives that power back. And I thought to myself, okay, like, I actually do kind of understand that in a way. I do get that. And, I think that might come full circle at one point, but we'll get into that later. Let's talk about Jane and Renata.
Yes.
First of all, I think Renata was so overdramatic about that shove. I was like, you a little...
that was a huge flop.
You were like just a little over dramatic.
Yeah, she's like a European soccer player, like falling to the ground. But at the same time, I do not condone violence. I always say that on like all my shows. But like I was like,
I can't say nothing.
But seriously, at that moment, I was like, punch the bitch in the face. Like I was so mad. Renata like really stirs me up, and like I was not about that. And it's just like, but at the same time, it's like, don't do it because you're already getting blamed that your son's violent, and if you end up violent, it's gonna look bad on him. But I was just like, I cannot deal with this lady.
No, like I'm a big fan of being the bigger person. I really am. I'm not gonna say I condone violence. I think violence is funny, depending on stuff. I just think some things are funny. Don't quote me on that. It's just a me thing. I'm just a weird individual. We'll leave it at that. But I find some violence funny. But I was just like, Renata just needs to get hit. Like some people just need to get hit in their life at least once or twice to realize who they are. Like not like to say that she has to be a bulldog. She was bullied, this, that, and other. But, like, sometimes you just, like, you need to get hit to realize you're human.
Yeah. Well, I found it a very fast turn because I will say in the book that she does turn a good corner. But I'm sitting here watching this and I'm thinking, there's not much time for her to turn this corner.
Right.
And, like, it happened a bit abruptly for me. She's wearing that patch on her eye.
Well, and Leo in the chat is also saying she didn't get hit in the eye. She faked that. And
oh, I mean, I did that
totally,
with my little brother when I was younger.
Right.
We'd be swinging at each other, and then I'd be like, ah, oh, my God. No, I used to do it with the door. I would pretend that he slammed a door on my finger, and he never did. And I just would scream, and, it was awful. Whatever.
yeah, that's
I was a really good big sister, basically. But I saw what she did, and I go, yep, I know. I've taken a page from your book, Renata. But at the end of the day, when her and Jane spoke, it seemed as though Jane's approach really did work.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's like this woman has made a petition for her son to not go to
technically it was
that
Harper. But still, she's supporting,
because of her, right?
Yeah.
Because of her, and I'm sure something Renata was, yes, please, it's about time somebody do it.
Right.
And I loved but did you think it was all fake at the end when they kind of came together and understood, or do you think they finally do understand each other?
You mean the car scene or the house scene?
Both. Do you think either of those were fake?
I don't think the car scene, that part, I think that was actually her trying to really just figure out who's hurting my daughter and figure out what the hell's going on, because I think especially when she heard the fact that I've taken my son to a child psychologist. And there's nothing to, back up what's been said about him. So at that point, I get her thinking, maybe it really isn't Ziggy, but if it's not him, then who?
Well, yeah, now she's going to make a play date with every kid
which is
in the grade. And yeah, I do think this is the first time she realized that it wasn't Ziggy. Probably isn't Ziggy.
Yeah, I liked that they made up, just because this is so much drama over, like,
Little
stuff
stuff
that kids do. I mean, and she said a million times that he didn't do it, and I don't know. It's so tough because the little girl won't talk, and, the teacher, for whatever reason, sees nothing. But I feel like Jane, like, literally almost left town for this, so I liked to see them make up so that hopefully Jane will stay.
I will say, the only thing that really pissed me off kind of was, like, the whole kissing thing. Like, he's 6. Who hasn't had a first kiss when they're, like, in 1st or 2nd grade? Just being real.
Oh, when he kissed her, too. Well, it was kind of at that time, I think, a double whammy. Like, we don't even know if he choked her or not, and, like, now he's kissing her, but she said that Amabella told her that Ziggy was a nice boy, and it seemed as though Renata believed it from her daughter.
Right.
So I have we come to terms with the fact that it's probably not Ziggy?
I seriously have never believed in Ziggy. I will say that. I just think he's just too easy a target. And say he's 6, he's a kid, so that's too easy just a target to throw at somebody, and people are gonna latch onto that and not try to look further to what they need to be looking at.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, let's get into some Madeline. She had a lot of crazy stuff going on tonight. First of all, she had her big show.
Yes.
Yay, Avenue Q. I still have not seen it. I need to check that out in real life.
Honestly, I'm a big theater person, and Avenue Q, for some reason, there have been several shows I couldn't go to that I was supposed to see Avenue Q, and I still haven't seen it.
Darn.
And I know that, when I saw it tonight, I'm like, oh my god, I would love this.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And first of all, Reese Witherspoon, when I was rewatching it yesterday, she needs to be nominated for an Emmy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
yes.
this whole show is good. It's good. Seriously, I think it's gonna be American Crime and Big Little Lies are gonna be going at each other for this season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's fantastic.
She is.
And like I said, I told you guys that the thing with her director that was not in the books, that was added, which makes me kind of think the trajectory of the rest of her character is going to be different. And it scares me because it makes me worried about what's going to happen to her. But it excites me because I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
So basically, we see the show, and we'll get into Celeste's thing after this, but Celeste doesn't show, Jane shows. And I love that they were all sitting in the same row, even Bonnie and Nathan. And it just reminded me kind of my childhood when anyone was performing in a play. We'd have a full row with, the step-parents, the step-siblings, the half-siblings, the grandparents, the step-grandparents. And, most of them hated each other, which is why they were all, kind of sitting in the same row but away from each other. And I liked that Nathan was trying to support her. I don't know, and because Abby was there.
Abby was right between
in the
Ed
middle
and Nathan, which was perfect.
And I've been
that.
there. I've been in the middle of my stepmother and then my mother on the other side. I've been Abby forever, and it's exhausting.
I bet.
I mean, and she's definitely taking her life into her own. So, I mean, okay, so I knew this from the book, what Abby was doing, and I was wondering if they were going to make it different. But they kept that the same. And this dinner party that the 4 of them had, right? I laughed. I thought I shouldn't be laughing.
I thought it was entertaining as hell.
It was hilarious.
It was super they're trying they're also tiptoeing around each other, which is funny. And then the whole, honey, you gonna tell her something? Go ahead. Bonnie's kind of throwing the sacrificial lamb at that
Bonnie's
point.
the best. I mean,
it's awesome.
And I love Zoe Kravitz, but
yeah.
Could we just talk about Bonnie for a minute? How do you think that she's relating to Abigail? And that's a hard role because she's almost the median because she's not super far away from Abigail's age. I think she might. How old do you think she is?
I think she's playing 20 between 25 to 29. I'm pretty sure in that range, and no higher ever.
Right. So in a way, she's closer to Abigail's age than she is to Nathan's age.
Yeah.
Right.
But she's wise beyond her years. And during that dinner, before that they find out what Abigail's doing. And what do you think would be the appropriate way of reacting?
I don't know. I was thinking, what would I do if I was Reese Witherspoon, as that was happening? Because, you can't stop somebody from doing what they want to do. And that's just, life.
I mean, technically, when you're underage, you kind of can't.
Well, what are you going to do? She can literally just leave and do whatever the hell she wants. And, you can't be on top of her every 5 minutes.
Oh, you can lock her up. She's under 18.
Right?
But where are you going to lock her? And when's she going to go to school?
She did homeschool.
Believe me.
Yeah.
You can get away with shit.
I'm if that was my daughter, I'd be she'd be in the basement.
That's what I'm thinking. What do you do so that they don't
I don't know.
leave?
My friends are always I should do that.
Do what?
Sell your virginity on the internet? Oh,
Yeah.
dear Lord.
Don't do that.
I'd make a lot of money, though, not even for being funny. But I'll leave it alone.
I'm
But I
going to
think
lock
it's
them
funny.
in my basement now.
Haven't you snuck out of your house ever?
Yeah.
No, my
Or,
house had bars on it.
Get the hell! Oh, I got the hell out of my house many times.
There's bars
And-
all over my house back home. There is no sneaking nothing.
When everybody goes to sleep, you just walk out the front door.
No, because my parents slept in the living room sometimes, most of the time. So that's where, like, they would be. And, like,
But, like, I've snuck out of the house so many times and I've lied to my parents about so many things and I've skipped school. Like, I've done it all. Like,
okay,
you can't control people.
I'll say this. I'm adopted. So, basically, me and my mom's relationship is kind of like Bonnie and Abigail. So, I tell my mom everything. My mom knows everything. My dad, however, did not know everything. But my mom knows everything there is to know about me.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to go out, I would just tell her. Like, there was no like needing to sneak, lie. I didn't particularly have to lie to my parents.
Right.
I never had to lie to them.
Well,
what I thought was most fascinating about that whole thing was that first of all, the physical comedy of the scene with Madeline at dinner, and when she's on the way with Ed, she goes, "It's okay, I took something,
Just a half."
And it's just so funny because it's so real. Like, if I were in her position, oh please, I would have taken a whole.
Seriously.
I mean, it's so stressful. She goes there, she's so nice, and they're like wondering why she's being so nice, and she just starts
so
vomiting,
high.
like
gosh.
violently, like green vomit.
Well, like, I knew when she started drinking wine, I was like, whatever she took, if it's not weed, like, if it's like a Xanax or something, this is not going to sit well. So good effing
And
luck.
it didn't help with that news, the sell your virginity thing was not helpful at all.
my
It was just like
God,
that.
I
As soon as that
know.
had reaction, it was just like, I was kind of expecting, but I was just like, I didn't want to see it either. I'll just say that.
I didn't either, actually.
I'm like, I don't need it. I'm happy. I'm like, if you're doing it, you're just like, eh. But then, like, I don't need to see the actual green coming out.
I
Like, did
know.
you, like, have to, like, cut, second, put it in her mouth, then now do it. Like,
Well,
Oh my
needed to
God,
see
it was
it.
so horrible.
We needed to see it because it went all over Bonnie.
It did.
I
And
know.
then Bonnie was all nice. She goes, "That's normal. That's natural. Oh, it's okay." And then she goes, "Jesus!" It's like all over her. I thought it was hilarious.
It was so funny.
And the conversation that Madeline had with Chloe, like, that's new.
Abigail.
Yeah, Abigail. Yes, Abigail. Like, that's new because, like I said in the book, Madeline didn't have the affair. And she told her. That's so
I know.
huge
But
that she
here's
told
the
her.
And I
daughter.
wonder if she's going to keep the secret, though, legit.
Well, that's what I said. So this is why I say don't tell anybody anything, and that's why I don't. Because what if you get in a fight with Abby one day and she's back in the house and she's like, "Well, you cheated on Ed," and then Ed's like, "What?" Like, I mean,
That is
obviously,
true.
like, I think Ed probably has an idea, but she hasn't outright said it to him. So, well, that I know.
I mean,
of
she
anyways.
basically, well, she said, I made a huge mistake. I made a terrible mistake, even though, like, he stopped her before she can continue on what the
Right.
mistake particularly was. She kind of admitted it, even though she didn't fully admit it to it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's messed up. And what are we feeling on the Ed scale? I haven't asked you this, Shay. So I never thought Ed was creepy in the books or anything, but I felt like that could be a character change they were making in this. He's creeped me out a little bit the past few weeks.
I think he definitely has some fetishes. And for me, the whole Jane sexual, it's either Ed or is Perry. It's one or the other.
That
That's-
dies?
Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. It's either Ed or it was Perry that raped her. And I can't wait to see
Oh,
somehow
that
blow
raped
up.
Jane. That's
Because I seriously don't even think she's even met Ed. Like, even when she came up to the house,
Well,
like,
she hasn't met Perry either.
that's like, those are my two things. It has to be Ed, because, like,
Like,
he's
aren't
that
you-
potentially creepier
Yeah.
a little bit. And the whole, like, I like women sweating. Like,
Oh,
what?
That was bad.
No, however, the whole him standing up to Nathan thing, I think that's a very mature guy move to make, because I think Nathan thought he can actually kind of bully Ed as like, no, you're not going to do that. So I think, however, that was actually kind of awesome. However, after with Bonnie and the whole sweating and then the whole creepily looking behind you, walking to yourself, yeah, I got issues with that.
Did you think at one point, Jessie?
Yeah, I thought Ed was creepy at the
To
point where
Abigail,
yeah,
right?
to Abigail when they were home alone that one day. I was just like felt a weird vibe, and then like nothing happened, so I was like, thank God. But now I'm back on Team Ed, and I'm like, all right, he's.
But technically, he hasn't, especially if it like if she is stealing her, then technically he hasn't really crossed the line either. At the
Right.
same point.
But it's, the thing is, the fact that Abigail wanted to leave the house, I think she wanted to leave the house because she had this kind of, like, infatuation with Bonnie.
Yeah.
And thought she was so cool, and this father that she didn't know when she was younger. But there's also the other side of it that Ed could have been making her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we don't really know, like, what the exact reason was, and now we find out she's trying to sell her virginity on the internet, which I loved. I have not liked Nathan at all. And this episode, he was killing me. I loved him with
Yes.
the Cocoa Puffs.
I know, that was actually
Oh my
so
God.
funny. He's like, damn, Skippy, I'm going to keep on pouring. and some orange juice added.
Yeah,
Like,
and then when Bonnie tells him, she's like, "Just be calm," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Abigail!"
Yeah.
And you just like see him running. Oh my god, it
But
was
that's
hilarious.
how I would have reacted. Actually, Katiana McCowan says that she thinks that Madeline told her about the affair as a way to disarm Abigail because she knows she can't control her, which I think is a really good point.
I think it's a great point. I think it was brilliant on Madeline's part and brilliant
agree.
writing for this
Oh,
because
yeah.
again, it's new.
Well, and how else do you react? Just like we talked about, like I would have flipped shit, but like that's
would've-
not going to do anything.
Personally, I don't know how I like react. Only because like I have two different sides.
Only because
I
she's
have-
considering it doing it
I
herself.
know.
No, I
Don't do this,
I have
people,
two
because a
different
serial
sides
killer
in my
will
head.
buy
Like
it
I
and you'll die.
have the mom I grew up like I like was born to that reaction, and then I have the mom who raised me reaction. So at that point, like they're both kind of warring on like how do I snatch her? Like
Yes.
one part of me really wants to do, or do I just be like Bonnie and have a real just conversation and admit fault? Like I'm not perfect, because I think all kids, especially when your parents preach to you about being perfect, they feel like they can't live up to that. So you have to
Right.
show them I am not perfect.
Right.
Like I'm human, and kids forget that about their parents. We're human too.
So can I just say one other thing? Because I think we only have one episode left, but I was like thinking about this as it was happening, and I was like, oh my god, like I don't even know the talk I would have with this girl, but like it's definitely like a serial killer's gonna buy this, they're gonna kill her, and then I was like, holy shit, it's gonna be Perry. Perry's gonna buy it, he's gonna like rape her, and then like I don't know, but like go.
What does Perry even do? I just realized I have never asked, what the hell does Perry do?
I don't know.
I don't
He's
really
just
know. He
rich and he
travels
travels.
and-
He's like doing business deals with.
Okay, so it's not just me. Like nobody else knows. I was just wondering if it was just me that did not know what he did for a living that has him traveling.
One of those rich. I mean, listen. They don't talk about the men's businesses. It's not about the men.
I mean-
It's about the women. But yes, there would be nice to have a little more clarification.
I mean, the only thing we know about Ed is he's a web designer. That's seriously all he does. And Nathan works at the yoga studio. But
Yeah.
we don't really know what Perry does.
So do we find out about what happens with this virginity thing?
in the book.
Yeah.
Yes, and I don't know if it's going to go the same way, but I did really love how it went in the book. It was
She
pretty,
said no.
No, I said that we do find out how it happens.
No, I'm saying, but no, that was me guessing because I haven't read the book. So she said no, she didn't do it.
Oh,
we're
I'm
not
not.
doing
I'm
any
not going to tell you
spoilers.
guys.
Yes,
I'm
I
not
know,
going to
I'm
spoil
dying.
it.
I
Don't
want a
even-
spoiler.
Let me. I'll
I
tell
told
you
you
after. No,
spoilers.
because people will murder me.
Yes.
But I will just tell you that I think that for the next episode, I could not know anything. I think
Yeah.
I know the general gist of things, but like I said, I think there's going to be another thing that comes into play that I'm not really quite sure about. What's
Go
your
ahead.
question?
I was gonna say, can I just say like that whole preview? Like I was so getting Lisa Bonet vibes from Zoe Kravitz. So legit, like that is her mom and that is her daughter. Like it's amazingly gorgeous.
And I will say that Zoe Kravitz, even in such a in a role in someone's life, to be that stepmother, the young stepmother, you're automatically really hated. And I applaud Zoe Kravitz tremendously for being able to portray this role as someone that like you kind of empathize with. You don't think
Yeah.
she's the crap person. It's like,
Right.
oh, the young wife. Well, we all hate her.
Right.
Like she's almost the voice of reason.
She's the
Yes.
only voice of reason in
Yeah.
the entire group.
Right, but they casted this so perfectly, because what other woman do you think could be in that role that you wouldn't be like automatically against?
Exactly, because you're automatically gonna hate that girl.
Right, but you can't hate her though.
No, because
I
she.
love
I mean,
her.
some of
She's
the
cool
some of
as
the other
hell.
mothers do, but that's
yeah.
just, that's because
Oh, they're just jealous.
They're haters.
they're also that. No, my favorite was like the mother, one of the moms in the interrogation room, and she was
Harper.
saying, no, not Harper. It was the blonde, big kind of
Oh,
big,
yeah.
like, but I don't know her. Is it Thea? Like
I'm not
Thea-ish?
sure actually.
And she was just like, I don't believe that people's sex lives can be that, good. I was like, maybe because you're not getting it that good. Like, just be
Yeah.
honest about it.
Well, speaking of sex lives, that is a perfect segue into
Celeste.
Celeste and Perry. I just will say that it is kudos to Nicole Kidman and Alexander Skarsgård, and of course the writers, and Liane Moriarty, the writer of the book. It's fascinating to watch, and I think they're doing such a real portrayal of it because
Yeah.
it's hard to watch because you can understand where Celeste is coming from, kind of at those times, how hard that must be to kind of leave, and
No.
you know.
Well, okay, when I say no, I mean, like, I understand it, but I also know what it's like to be a child in that.
Yeah.
And I actually saw my mom and I don't want to call him the baby daddy-ish person, go into a WWE type fight in front of me and his daughter.
Well, yeah,
and we're kids, so it's like, what the heck? We can't stop them. They're just gonna sit here and fight like they're on TV. And so we ended up calling 911 and then we left.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard with these abuse situations because, like, if you are somebody that hasn't been in an abusive relationship, and I haven't, it's so easy for us, like people like myself who haven't been in that situation, to be like, what the hell are you doing? Just leave. Like, you're going to die. But, like, for people who have been through abuse and who are going through abuse, it is so hard. Like, you are really broken down to, like, your core to believe, like, what is she going to do without him? I mean, she quit her job. She now has kids with him. Like, he really put her in a place that it's so hard for her to leave at this point.
Exactly.
I agree and disagree. Only because she will be fine without him, and she's proved it. Like, so at that point, I'm just like, either you're just saying because you're in some twist way, you really love the angry sex.
Right.
Which I'm not saying is not bad or anything. Sometimes hate sex just happens, whatever. But you've proven you can do it by yourself.
Right.
Like, just...
But I think sometimes you're so beaten down that you can't remember. Because when she was in the car with Madeline 2 episodes ago, after they had done that talk about the play, Madeline got in the car and she's like, you did so awesome. And she's like, did I? Like, she had no idea. She has, like, no confidence.
Exactly.
So I can, although I haven't been a victim of this type of abuse, like, I can understand how it would be so difficult
and
to
like,
get out.
Again, why I applaud this show tremendously for, people that are watching it that haven't been abused or have seen abusive relationships like that, for us to watch that and then be able to understand where Celeste is coming from, because they've built so much character behind her that we love her and we get it because she has these 2 kids with him.
I know.
And it's the kids where it gets complicated.
Right.
I think if it weren't for the kids, yes, I think she would have left much sooner. But, it's very easy for people that have never been in that situation to kind of say, you should leave. But I think it's very fascinating to watch this because it's real and it's not easy to leave. And it's little things. So Perry told her to not go to Madeline's show because he wanted the romantic weekend away, which to him was this romantic gesture, but it was also manipulative to take her away from her friends.
Right.
And when she decided that, like, she was going to stay, and then he came back, and then he tried to seduce her before she was supposed to go. And I in her head, it's all, he loves me, he wants to be with me, I'm a goddess, he's obsessed with me. But it was just, it's manipulative. And then she broke his clavicle. Was it clavicle? Or
No, it's urethra, isn't it? Basically his,
yes.
Yeah.
Where is that?
It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, his penis?
It's just where you pee out of. That's what your urethra is.
In 2 places.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the thing. I don't know how you shatter your urethra in 2
Unless
places.
You bite it.
Well, I mean, she did hit his butt with a tennis racket. So
yeah.
But it could have cut into it a little bit.
So I don't know. That must be ridiculously painful, and like I don't
feel
want to have
bad,
to ever experience
right?
that. No, I don't feel bad either. Okay.
No, like for like I said, 'cause I grew up in that type of thing. So like I think for me, like I want one person to do it just so I have a reason. Because I'm like, you only gonna get one.
Oh man.
Because after that, we're done. Like I have 0 tolerance.
I mean, I have 0 tolerance for it too. And you think that and you watch it, but then you think about her and she's like, how am I gonna do this? And then first of all, Alexander Skarsgård is just I think he's very sexy and
we don't even have to. That's not a question.
Yeah, no, he's very, very sexy. I'm a big True Blood fan, and again, I just wanted to point out tonight, so I did not mention it. We saw penis.
We did.
She paused it and everything, guys.
She didn't even notice it the first time.
No, I saw something. No, I was just I got caught up.
But what did you think it was at first, though? Because at first I was like, damn, his arm is like super skinny. And then I was like, oh, that's his dick,
I was like, penis.
I got caught up in sexiness. So like my mind was just like went straight to like, ooh, again, I have a lot of attention apparently, so leave me alone.
Well, that's why I was like, what is that? And then I was like, oh, okay, now I know what it is.
Because Alexander,
I didn't even know. Like I was like, oh.
And I pause it and I go, look, and people are probably walking by at AfterBuzz, and I'm just sitting there like pointing at a dick on the TV.
No big deal. This happens.
It's just
normal.
there.
Yeah.
She's stroking.
But it's very like HBO, and also it's very Alexander Skarsgård in True Blood. He like sat on that like toilet in the middle of nowhere, like naked, just like, you know, everything hanging out. And I think that he's just like, if I'm gonna be in this, I just want to give him a little something.
Exactly.
You know what I loved about like I don't know, maybe it's like her, just Nicole Kidman's choice was basically like, you know, her whole teasing to him, just like it was just like without showing it, but then showing it, but then like I just love that. I love that whole teasing seduction thing that they've been building to.
And they, you know, they do a good job. But again, what I think is awesome in the show is the therapist sessions Celeste
It gives you
has.
so much life. Because, like, it's seriously, like, what I've been thinking in my head, but, like, she gets said to her, and she's like, why are you being such an alarmist? Because I am alarmed.
Yeah.
Like, you, like, only who is not alarmed is you, and that is the problem.
Right. Well, and I love when she's like, I don't think a therapist should be doing this. And she's like, well, then I'll give you the number to the Better Business Bureau. But in the meantime, I was like, yes. Because, I mean, these are the things that she needs to be
Doing.
Yeah.
You need to be documenting because, like, seriously, when you actually do decide to leave, he will take you to court.
Yeah.
He will make sure he gets those kids.
I mean, that's a guardian
Just
angel you have watching over you.
yeah.
Like, how blessed is Celeste that she has this therapist that is saying, do this, and this, because the inevitable will happen. And hopefully it's not the bad inevitable that one of them, you know, that he kills her. Hopefully it's, you know, they split and she leaves and she has nothing. She has nowhere to go. It's such a good plan. And I think it's such a good message to people. Do this. Like, if you are scared, just, like, have a backup thing.
Have a rainy day fund that only you know about.
Absolutely. And I don't think it's deceiving. I think that it's protecting yourself, which you always, and your children if you have children. Most importantly, protect yourself, protect your children. And I love that this therapist is like, I don't really care that you think this is weird, because Celeste is still there. And she knows that she needs help. And
she keeps, I think what mostly pisses me off is you keep seeing this woman, you get either upset or you're just like, so you feel some kind of way about it, but you still go back. You still go see her. There's a reason for it.
Right.
You want to get help, but you seriously, she still doesn't know how to ask for it at the same time. And she still doesn't see the problem. Because there's a problem.
Right. And I think that's another thing that the show does so good is, like, I used to be a therapist, so, like, people don't want to come see you. Like, it's not always like you see on other TV shows. Like, I used to see Bethany Frankel go to her therapist and just, like, sit down and just, like, say everything. And it's like, yeah, she's worked to that point, and maybe she's more open. But, like, for someone like me who's very closed off anyways and doesn't want to tell people things, I'd be like Nicole Kidman. I'd be, like, struggling through therapy. And I had times where people would come in and they wouldn't say anything, and I'd just sit for an hour, and I'm like, so we're going to sit here for an hour and not talk. And they'd be like, I don't want to talk today. It's like, well, you're here for a reason, just like you said. So let's not waste our time. But, like, it's like stuff like this is so difficult. I mean, she's already in this relationship, and could you imagine how scared you would be? Like, going to somebody, telling a therapist all this stuff, and then, like, finding another house or having the therapist say something to him, like, you get home and you could be dead.
yeah, because deep down she knows that he's capable of that. And he said that to her. You're so lucky I didn't kill you.
Yeah.
Because she fought back. I mean...
But she always fights back, so that's like...
But this was
honestly,
the first time she actually did something to him physically.
like,
that hurt him.
hardcore. Yes. And that's the thing. If she didn't, like, hurt him like she did, I think he probably would have killed her. Like, if she swung and missed or something, like, luckily, like, he was in too much pain
Personally,
to, like,
I would
do
have just
anything.
ran out. I'm like, deuces. Like, you just hang in
But
there.
it's just
I'll
so
get you
scary
help.
with two kids. It's really scary to have two kids. You need a place. You know, you're not going to take two kids to a dingy. I mean, if you can't, if you do, it's because you have to. But you want to take them to somewhere else. You want to have a backup plan for them. You don't want them to be like, "What's next, mommy?"
Right.
And she say, "I don't know, and I'm scared too."
Right.
So and
It's so hard to be a parent like that because you want to be strong for your kids, but she needs to get her shit together so that she can be that way.
and it's like a drug. You know, the two of them.
Oh,
It's-
for sure.
And I mean, she's not. It's manipulative. She's not a part of it. I don't know if I'm right in saying that, but I think that it's kind of, you know, she feeds into it, he feeds into it, but he takes it way too far.
Right.
And it's just, and it's,
Yeah, the whole, like, just grabbing, like, it's, first of all, again, I'm a black woman. Don't touch my hair. Be serious about it. Second of all, you can't throw a tantrum. You're not a child, dude. You're a grown man. Like, please act like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very complicated, and we see her in her last scene kind of just leave and say, I'm going out to dinner with Jane.
But when she goes to the apartment.
Are you worried about when she gets home? I'm like,
it's
I'm scared.
Yeah, I know.
I legit just want her to tell Jane, like, obviously her and Jane have something in common. Like, if you needed to talk about something before you go home, she would be the one.
Well, and they have more in common than they know at the end of the day.
But that's the thing about Celeste that I think is also so good. She is so quiet herself. Like the therapist said, you haven't told anybody, so you're going to go to court, and the lawyer's going to be like, so nobody knows about all of this abuse for all of these years.
Such a good point that the therapist
It was
made.
such a good point. I'm like, and plus you're a lawyer. You know exactly what will be said, what will be asked of you too. You know it. So, and she recognized it too when she said it. Like, yeah, I get it and I know, but like, you're still not doing anything to help change your life besides maybe the apartment. That's about it.
But it's so hard because you're in this like situation where you're in this like town where everybody has to be perfect all the time, and everybody thinks you're perfect, and everybody envies you in your relationship. And what are you going to do? Go tell Madeline, oh my gosh, Perry's beating the shit out of me? Like, it's so, I know that sounds like it's easy to tell somebody, but like, I can't imagine being in her position.
I know. I feel like it would be awesome, you know, she could just sense in Jane, be like, I know you've been through something, so this is what, I mean, if she told Madeline, then it would be like, oh my God, we'll call the cops right now.
Right.
And that's not.
Well, and we just talked about how Jane told Madeline about the rape, and that's the first person she told, and she told Celeste.
Right.
So it's like
And
Celeste.
she told Ed.
Yeah, and so Celeste already knows, like, Madeline is a great friend, I believe, but
I would love to have her as a friend.
yeah, but at the same time, like, can you trust her with that information?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I can understand why she told it. Like, that's her husband, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you, especially if you're on the whole open up your marriage where you don't want to keep secrets from each other, makes total sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of, since Celeste is in the realm, yeah, it makes sense. She would tell, because they have a little like triangle, like just a
Right.
friendship ish. So it makes sense because she didn't tell anybody else.
Right, but the problem becomes like if Celeste tells Madeline, is Madeline gonna go then tell Jane?
Well, I think at the end of the day, it would be beneficial if Jane
somebody knew.
and Madeline kind of got on the
Yes.
same page. And yes, we see Celeste go to this apartment, and it's less than what they're used to, but, you know, got a good view.
Yeah,
You gotta have
I'll
that.
take it. I don't.
I mean,
it's
that place
beautiful.
was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, it was amazing. It really was. And so we're kind of left with what is Celeste going to do. It seems like she has turned a page, that she's officially going to move forward. So on that note, let's get into some predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, let's start on this side of the table, ladies. Jessie, you have one?
So I hope that we wrap everything up. Can I just say like what I think's gonna happen, or should
Of
I
course.
just okay?
This is predictions.
So I really think Perry is like the person in all of this, because I actually thought it was gonna go down tonight, because I thought they were gonna get in a little fight and they were gonna show up late to the play, and then when Madeline and Jane were just saying bye to everybody, I was like, oh my God, Celeste and Perry are gonna come up and Jane's gonna be like, oh, that's him.
Right?
But it didn't happen, so I was like, it has to be him. Like now, like I just feel like it has to be him. Like every time, like I think they're about to meet each other, like it doesn't happen, because it was last episode when they were FaceTiming each other and he just came in and she just clicked off.
That's a great point, yeah.
And then last night too, so I'm like, it has to be Perry, and they're gonna find out on this last episode, and something's gonna go down. I don't know. So that, and
but
then,
we're going to dress up, right?
oh yeah, we should dress up.
Yes.
And I also, just like I said before, I think like if this whole thing goes through with Abigail, like it's totally going to be Perry that buys her virginity, and then like he's going to like rape her, and then like they're going to show up to trivia night, and somehow Bonnie's going to find out. I don't know if Abigail's going to be there or what's going to happen, and I don't know, but like
It's all kind of tying together for you, all these storylines.
yeah, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm just like, is that too far out there or what? So
I
tell
think
me what
it's
you
too
think.
far out.
No,
Yeah.
I know, like what you said that, because I was thinking, like, so if that's the case, because, you know, in the, you know, the beginning, how they're all, like, dressed up as their, Celeste and Jane are the two people that are only dressed alike.
Interesting point.
Like, I seriously, I'm like, okay, I'm like,
So did
Did
they
they
do
do
that
it on
for
purpose?
a reason?
Or, like-
See, this is why I love to like talk to writers and stuff. Like, did you do that on purpose? Because like we could have figured this out from the very beginning.
It was just bugging me the whole time. Every time I saw the intro, I'm just like, that like Perry has to be in there or something, because like there's no reason why you like out of all the Audrey Hepburn things you'd have both Nicole Kidman and Shailene Woodley as the same thing unless you have a reason to back it up.
Yes, and actually before we go, I wanted to say one other thing that Natalie H brought up, because I wonder if this will change like what you saw in the book. But she said Reese and Nicole K are adapting to another novel called Truly Madly Guilty.
Yeah, and then there's another one that it's the author is her novels. Nicole Kidman, Reese Witherspoon is adapting one of her books to a movie as well. But it's the same author. So there's a movie Reese Witherspoon's doing, and then they're doing another one, Truly Madly Guilty, together, which they did. Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon did the show together, producing partners.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's really cool. What about you, Shay? What do you think's gonna happen next week?
So my theory is, I was talking to Jennifer. I think Emma Bella is perpetrating herself to get attention. If it's not that, then it's Celeste's twin. One of the twins are hurting Emma Bella, and they're blaming Ziggy, because even the twins are like, he's a good kid. So you know something and you're just not saying something, or you're behind something to hide something.
Yeah.
And okay, I forgot she did meet Ed. I think so. Okay, that only leaves Perry, so I agree with that. I kind of want Bonnie to blow up for some reason, just because I think it'd be funny as hell.
Yeah.
It might not happen, however, but I want to see it.
I'm on that Bonnie train with you. I want her to kind of like rise up and blow up. And I am just going to only predict something that I don't know, which is the Madeline, Ed, this entire thing, and then the guy she's having an affair with, or did have an affair with. I think that's going to come into play on the trivia night. Like, that's going to come into play with the violence that ends up happening. And I don't know, because I said this wasn't a part of the book, but I think they put it in for a reason. And I think it's definitely going to be
in the preview?
Big part. Well, just in general, because it wasn't in the book. So that whole thing.
Why else would they have that in there?
Yeah, and I
That's a good point.
I know what I think is going to happen at the end, because I read it, but I think that's something else bigger. They're giving us a treat. I think that we didn't know was going to happen, and they've been building up, and so that's really the only
a little
thing.
hidden sub.
Yeah-ish.
Yes.
I like to watch this and depict it, and you know, all of that. So on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love chatting about the show and chatting about the show with you guys. So on that note, where can we all find you on social media?
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us in chat tonight, and join us next week as well. I'm Jessie Zahner. You can find me all over social media at Athletic.
Hey guys, I'm Shay Jones. You can find me at Real Shay Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
And thank you so much, Shay, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me. I get to play dress up next week. I'm excited.
Yeah, I know. We'll figure out the dress up next week, but get prepared. I'm Sam Davidson. You can find me at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. And we will see you next week for the finale. We love you all. Thank you so much. Bye.
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.